I'm a chemist by background, so my job will be to explain the formula of live happily, right? So that we can all agree upon that coffee is the beverage of happiness and, of course, wellness. Ah, so, let's start. Um, the definition of wellness is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease of infirmity. So there could not be a better fit, because as far as physical is concerned, coffee is now clear that makes you live better and longer. There are, in the last 10 years, so many scientific studies confirming that coffee is about longevity. For the first time in history, 2 years ago, the IRC, which is the International Agency for Research on Cancer, did reclassify coffee from possibly cancerogenic to non-classifiable as cancerogenic. And as a matter of fact, it is protective for many cancers, like the uterine, endometrium, liver, colorectal, breast cancer, and others. Right? Besides that, coffee, thanks to caffeine and some other molecules, probably the antioxidant ones, is considered to be the most effective preventative cure against the elder ages diseases, like dementia, Alzheimer, and Parkinson. So this might explain why people live longer, and as well as preventative cure against diabetes too. So it's serious stuff. I'm not joking about these positive effects of coffee on human health. You can find many sources. I already mentioned the IRC, the American Cancer Society, the European Food Safety Agency, the British Journal of Medicine, and others. And I recommend that you visit the Coffee and Health site, which is the official, let's say, web where all this information are organized. Besides health, coffee is well known, even acknowledged with the official, let's say, claims by the European Food Safety Authority as related to performance, mental performance, like, of course, memory, attention, and sport. Even if you drink too much sport, coffee in sport, you might be, let's say, accused about being, as you say, doping. So, and other advantages about these physical aspects is that there is no addiction. Many times, there are 25,000 scientific studies about coffee and health, and none of them confirm any addiction. And no calories, as long as you don't put any sugar and milk. There is 0 calorie. So please, choose a good coffee so that you don't need to pollute it with sugar and milk. Okay, so mental. Mental is even better. So besides, you know that there is a neurophysiology of pleasure. Of course, it involves a lot of internal chemistry, and the pleasure of coffee with over 1,000 aromas is an incredible trigger. So you kind of enter in a very pleasant state, a psychophysiological state of thanks to pleasure with the release of dopamine and so on. And then after 20 minutes, you get this kind of effect of caffeine, which is not too different, which makes you feel good and active. So maybe this one might be one of the reasons why coffee is also a very powerful antidepressant. And as I said, about alertness, anti-fatigue. But this mental state, which is a combination of pleasure, well-being, and let's say, stimulation by caffeine, is perfect for inspiration. This is why coffee has been, in the last 4 centuries, the official beverage of culture. You have so many, I don't want to make a list, of writers or artists who are famous for having literally been fueled with coffee. So, as far as the social is concerned, the third, let's say, component of wellness, the coffee experience is central to our lives. Every time you want to meet somebody, you say, hey, let's go and have a coffee, no matter if for dating or for business. And this coffee experience is really social. You tend to drink coffee with somebody is even happier. And in some countries, and particularly Italy, which is, I think not surprisingly, Italy has been the country which inspired this recent coffee revolution. Coffee used to be just a commodity until maybe 30, 40 years ago. People were waking up in the morning and get their coffee kick and then go working. This was just a, let's say, functional food, but people were missing the opportunity of having this wonderful pleasure with a over 1,000 aroma in this velvet feeling of the Italian espresso. So Italian espresso made coffee great, also for our friend Americans. The let's say, how's the name? Gourmet coffee revolution in the 80s and 90s made the Italian espresso an espresso-based drink to become the leader of the coffee revolution. And this coffee revolution made a slice of the Italian lifestyle to become global. And now you go and meet at wonderful cafes all over the world and enjoy and socialize, etc. So, but one other final reason why coffee is so relevant also from the social point of view is about sustainability. Because, coffee is about consuming in Western countries, in rich countries, but it's produced in poor countries, in the south of the world. I will talk more about that. But we can, in one word, we can say that coffee is a virtuous beverage, right? When I had the privilege to lead the promotion and market development at the International Coffee Organization, we developed this framework of the 3 virtues of coffee: pleasure, health, and sustainability. Pleasure, not only the quality of the coffee, the extreme variety, the recipes, single estate, single origin, single cultivar that you can find now in the market is becoming really like wine, that you can really choose, become very picky also in what you get. Something we could not even imagine 20, 30 years ago. There is definitely better technology around for very consistent and convenient preparation techniques, which allows you to become your own coffee sommelier at home and in the workplace. There are definitely much better places of consumption where you can meet. So in hotels now, I know many of you come from the hotel industry, is definitely central to the hotel experience to have a very nice coffee experience. And as far as health is concerned, I already mentioned, so to have a beverage which really makes you live better and longer is a virtue. And the last virtue I mentioned is sustainability. As far as sustainability is concerned, coffee is heading towards the right direction, because this revolution that I mentioned was triggered by quality. The coffee case history is one of the exceptional where quality led premium price and consumption increase. So it makes sense because the real one motivator for drinking coffee is, pleasure, sensorial pleasure, not necessarily caffeine that you can enjoy in plenty of other ways. So sustainability is the other coin, a face of the same quality coin. So this we can talk about sustainable quality. We don't have the one with the other one. So that means that as far as the coffee plantations are concerned, which I really care about, much better, let's say, economical, social, and environmental sustainability now compared what it was to be maybe 30 years ago. For those who know coffee industry, maybe 50 years ago was not so beautiful. It was about, deforestation, pollution, slavery in many cases, even wars related to coffee. We are definitely in a much happier environment now, even though we are not there yet, because the structure of the market is made in a way that unfortunately growing countries only get 10% of the value. And this is because the market is still not organized like it would be for a differentiated market. Still, the price is anchored to the commodity prices, and this makes some countries to struggle, particularly when you have a low prices period like now due to overproduction. And this creates a problem also because coffee agriculture is threatened by climate change. Okay, climate change is definitely a threat. It's not only a threat; it's reality. It's not only a risk. It's a current, let's say, situation. The coffee agriculture is damaged both quality-wise and quantity-wise. Productivity drops when, let's say, climate is not appropriate any longer. Also because the, let's say, climate conditions to grow coffee are very narrow. You don't have so much flexibility if the temperature is too high, or if the humidity is too high, or if drought is too high, then you cannot produce coffee any longer. So with that, I'm caring a lot in order to ensure long-term security, because it might be a shortage in production a few years down the road, maybe more, few decades down the road, if we don't do the necessary investment. And it's difficult to invest in the coffee plantations because of the so thin margins, the extreme volatility of the market, and the underdevelopment. So we will need to tear down this virtual wall, which is the equator, and stop considering producing countries on one side and consuming countries on the other side, because we are all on the same boat, all on the same field, all on the same market. There is only one bean, only one cup, only one coffee drinker, and only one smile at the end of this experience. And this leads me to talk about happiness. So I think when the advertising guru Kevin Roberts came with this payoff, live happily, he asked me, "Are you happy with this brilliant idea?" I said, "Yeah, let me think about." He was disappointed because I wanted to think about. Because I said, try to be a responsible man. I don't want to play around with something so relevant as happiness. So let me think about. So what is happiness? The ancient Greek philosopher considered happiness to be eudaimonia, which is living in a world of virtue. So here you see the virtue of coffee, which triggers this virtuous cycle which is linking the well-being that coffee delivers to coffee drinkers, together with the development for those who produce coffee. And the more we drink coffee and the better the quality, the more this virtuous cycle is strengthened and make people, 25 million families in the south of the world, to gradually come out of poverty. Because unfortunately, if you make the algebra and you divide these more or less $20 billion which go to the growing countries by 25 million families, is many times less than $2 per day, which is the threshold of poverty. So if we can get more pleasure, we will get more consumption, more premium price, and this 20 billion maybe will become 30 billion or 40 billion for the same 20, and becomes more sustainable also for producing countries. So and this is the part of, eudaimonia is about altruism, taking care of others. We are not here, I think, in a society where we can squeeze people wherever, no matter if whoever stakeholder. And I think that you introduce Illy as a stakeholder company. What does it mean? It's the opposed model then to the shareholder company. The shareholder is the typical Wall Street paradigm or stereotype that you have quarterly profit and go to the stock exchange for the shareholder who needs to cash the profits. This is a model based on greediness and creates disasters. I think we have seen what it created, and the society is definitely willing to change. I had the opportunity to personally talk with Michael Porter, who has been first the inventor of the theory of shareholder value, and he publicly say, I regret having proposed this model because of the disaster it created. And he came out with a very famous article, January 2011, Harvard Business Review, about this theory of shared value. Shared value is a completely different vision. The vision is that corporations are there to create well-being, improve quality of life of whoever is involved in the industry, in the society, no matter if you are directly or indirectly related to the business, right? So for me, coffee is a great opportunity. It's just an excuse to try to do so. With our tiny, maybe 7 million cups per day, we can make a difference for as many, how many? Few tens of thousands of coffee growers, at least tens of thousands of coffee growers selling the coffee to us. So a smile on the consumer face can be also a smile in the producing countries. So this is why we, let's say, embrace this sustainability cause so seriously. We started in 1991. In 1991, we founded Ernesto Illy, who is my late father, was my late father. Ernesto Illy Award was born in Brazil in order to stimulate growers to produce better quality, that we started buying directly from them, not from the trading companies any longer, directly from them and paying a premium price. And with that premium price, which is on average 30%, grower can cover the extra cost of production for better quality, right? And they also can invest in better education and better infrastructure to further improve quality the year ahead and so on. And this over time created a community, also because in the meantime we founded the University of Coffee. University of Coffee was born in 1999 in order to disseminate coffee culture in the world. And we now have 25 seats, and we have over 20,000 participants participating to our courses, which are from the introductory course, which is half a day long, which is an encouragement to continue, up to the unique soul master degree in coffee economy and science that we do since nearly 10 years now. So direct relationship and knowledge exchange with these coffee growers created a community. So I'm coming back yesterday from New York, where we have our annual Ernesto Illy International Award. So we now award the 3 finalists of the 9 countries of our single blend. So Illy is famous for the unique blend made with 9 of the best origins. These 3 best growers of the 9 origins are awarded number 1, 2, 3 at the United Nations. So people they are simply crazy to come to that experience. And then you have an international jury who decides out of the 9 winner of the 9 best, which is the best of the best. And then you have, so this is the professional, these are 10, is a jury of 10 independent, super connoisseur chefs, wine taster, coffee taster, wine expert, incredible people, 3 hours for tasting 9 coffee and rating so that you can know which is the winner. But then you also have the popular choice. So 1,500 tasting all over the world. San Francisco, New York, Paris, Athens, Milan, London, Kuala Lumpur. Rating out of the 9, out of the 27, out of the 9, sorry, which was the best. And very much to our surprise, this time the 2 are the same. And the winner is from Rwanda, and it's a woman. So we are so happy that this did happen, because we went to Rwanda years ago to really help these coffee growers, these women communities, to really improve the quality and learn, and eventually such an incredible win. Because usually consumer choice and the connoisseur and the expert choice is not the same. If you have the same choice, that means that really there is no discussion, is the best of the best. So this is only one example how we can really contribute to those people, let's say, development and happiness. Another one is the agreement that we did in Colombia with the ex-FARC warriors, who now are converting into coffee producer. Colombia is the 2nd largest fine coffee producer in the world. They are recovering from a terrible crisis due to climate change, and now they are growing in production, and they want to expand under the leadership of the President Santos, past President Santos, who is a great friend, a Nobel Prize for having signed this agreement with the FARC warriors. And coffee here came into the equation, and Illy has been chosen as a partner in order to help these growers to become fine quality growers, and they are selling the coffee to us. And this also has an impact on the society. So this is a few examples by which I wanted to really try to explain my view about what a stakeholder company is about. It's not about making profits for shareholder. It's about trying to give a strong sense of life to those who work in the company, impacting on a hierarchy of stakeholders, which are consumer, customers, the talents working in the company, the supplier, communities. I want Italy to be proud of Illy, like to be equally proud as they are of Technogym here in the Wellness Valley, and this is really try to be this type of business. Okay. So improving quality of life and this leads me to my dream. I have 5 more minutes to tell you about my dream, which is more and more becoming my, let's say, main occupation. Of course, live happily is a great responsibility, so we started, let's say, digging more. And, pardon me. So what we've started is a collaboration with Jeffrey Sachs. Jeffrey Sachs, as an economist, besides being a great friend, as an economist, he's probably the most famous economist for sustainability. He has been working with the United Nations in the last 25 years and the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change and so on. So we happen to support this World Coffee report, World Happiness Report, which is going to be presented this afternoon, if I remember well, by professor from Oxford. I don't remember in the program when it is, but I don't want to anticipate that. Maybe it's a surprise. So this happiness report is something really enlightening, because not only you dig more into the concept of happiness, and you see what really makes people happy. And so, in my view, happiness is also, besides living good among ourselves in the society, which is not too easy, because when I was born, we were less than half than we are today. So when I was born, and I'm still a kid, we were less than half than we are today. And the reason why we have this demographic explosion, exponential growth, is, most of you know the concept of ethology, the theory of ethology, the science of behavior in all, let's say, living species. Ethology theorizes the, let's say, demographic explosion when you have accessible resources. And the accessible resource we made this demographic explosion of humanity in the last century has been fossil fuel. Because fossil fuel did increase the quality of life in such a way. Whatever you do is fueled by energy, which is not clean. We didn't know at that time. So fossil fuel created also a dramatic, let's say, environmental damages before the extreme social imbalance that we are living in our society. And all this together, of course, also disrupted the economy to such an extent that we, all in all, now are living in a systemically unsustainable society. The economy is not sustainable any longer. If it doesn't grow, it breaks down. So you have to make it grow by pumping debt, and now we have a situation which is driven by speculation and unsustainable from the financial point of view at the global level. As far as the social sustainability, we have a huge problem where in the Mediterranean and Italy is the epicenter of this problem, which needs to be fixed with development, economic development in the countries where immigrants start. This is the only possible solution. And last but not least, climate change can only be fixed by shifting immediately, not as soon as possible, immediately to renewable energy. So all in all, my vision is that it's already happening, and we are heading towards a new era, a new age, which I call the health age. And the very, very simple change in paradigm is that we are shifting from the current resource depletion model into a resource regeneration model. Whichever was consumed will be now regenerated. Starting from renewable energy, there is enough energy from the sun to, let's say, fuel any possible human activity on the planet. Following agriculture, regenerative agriculture, which regenerates the environment, reforestation, urban agriculture, this kind of initiative which diminish the carbon and water footprint in our society, as well as improve our health. And the same for any other resources. Packaging material, metal, plastic, whatever, recirculated. This requires a significant change, a significant call to action This is why I'm happy to be here and address this, let's say, commitment for the future, at least as far as Illycaffè is concerned. Thank you very much.